thousands of years before Rome, before Greece, before most of the civilizations we know today. One kingdom rose beside a river and built monuments that still leave the modern world speechless. Welcome to World in 10 Minutes. Today, we're exploring over 3,000 years of ancient Egyptian history in just 10 minutes. Chapter 1. Before the Pharaohs, the river that created a civilization. Imagine standing in the middle of an endless desert. Nothing but scorching sand stretches to the horizon. Yet cutting through this sea of emptiness is a single ribbon of life: the Nile. Every year, without fail, the river overflowed its banks, leaving behind rich black soil that transformed barren land into fertile fields. Without the Nile, ancient Egypt would never have existed. Around 6,000 years ago, small farming communities settled along its waters, growing crops, raising animals, and learning to predict the rhythm of the annual floods. As generations passed, these villages became towns. The towns became rival kingdoms. And by 3100 BC, one ruler, known today as Narmer, united Upper and Lower Egypt into a single nation. It was more than the birth of a kingdom. It was the beginning of one of the longest-lasting civilizations in human history. Chapter 2. The Age of the Pyramids. When kings became gods. How do you convince an entire nation to build a monument that no one would ever live in? In ancient Egypt, the answer was simple. Their king was not just a ruler. He was believed to be a living god. During the Old Kingdom, pharaohs held absolute power over the land, the people, and even the balance between heaven and earth. To the Egyptians, death was not an ending. It was the beginning of eternal life. A pharaoh's tomb had to be worthy of a god. What began as simple stone tombs soon evolved into gigantic pyramids unlike anything the world had ever seen. The greatest of them all was the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu more than 4,500 years ago. Even today, its astonishing precision and immense scale continue to challenge engineers, historians, and archaeologists alike. Chapter 3. The civilization that defied its time. Science, writing, and the search for eternity. What if one civilization knew things that seemed centuries ahead of its time? Ancient Egypt was far more than a land of pyramids. It became one of humanity's earliest centers of knowledge. Its scribes developed hieroglyphics, transforming ideas into symbols carved into stone for eternity. Egyptian astronomers carefully observed the stars, creating a calendar that helped predict the Nile's life-giving floods. Their physicians treated wounds, repaired broken bones, stitched injuries, and recorded hundreds of medical remedies long before modern hospitals existed. Yet science was only part of their world. Every discovery, every building, and every ritual was connected to a powerful belief that death was not the end, but the beginning of another life. Through mummification, sacred ceremonies, and magnificent tombs, the Egyptians hoped to preserve both the body and the soul forever. Chapter 4. The Golden Age of Empires. When Egypt ruled the ancient world, what does a civilization look like at the absolute peak of its power? For ancient Egypt, the answer came during the New Kingdom. Its armies marched farther than ever before, conquering lands across Nubia and the Near East. Gold, ivory, incense, and exotic treasures flowed into Egypt from distant kingdoms, turning the Nile into the heart of a vast empire. Monumental temples rose across the landscape, built not only to honor the gods, but also to proclaim the glory of the pharaohs. This was the age of extraordinary rulers. Hatshepsut, the visionary queen who expanded Egypt through trade. Akhenaten, the revolutionary king who challenged centuries of religious tradition. Tutankhamun, whose forgotten tomb would captivate the modern world. And Ramesses II, the legendary warrior pharaoh whose monuments still dominate the Egyptian landscape more than 3,000 years later. Chapter 5. The Fall of a Giant. How did an empire of 3,000 years collapse? How can one of history's greatest civilizations simply disappear? Ancient Egypt had survived for more than 3,000 years. It had endured powerful pharaohs, monumental achievements, and generations of prosperity. But no empire remains invincible forever. As the centuries passed, changing climates reduced harvests, political rivalries weakened royal authority, and economic struggles spread across the kingdom. Sensing opportunity, foreign powers began to invade. The Libyans came first, followed by the Nubians, the Assyrians, and the Persians. Then, in 332 BC, a young Macedonian king named Alexander the Great entered Egypt, not as a destroyer, but as a liberator. Egypt would soon become part of the Greek world, and later the Roman Empire. The age of the pharaohs had quietly come to an end, but its legacy would outlive every empire that conquered it. Chapter 6: A Civilization That Never Died. The Legacy of Ancient Egypt. What if ancient Egypt never truly disappeared? Its pharaohs are gone. Its empire has long since faded into history. Yet the ideas born along the banks of the Nile still echo through our world today. From architecture that inspired generations of builders, to mathematics, astronomy, medicine, engineering, and written records that shaped future civilizations, ancient Egypt became one of the foundations upon which human history was built. Every pyramid still standing, every temple rising from the desert, every hieroglyph waiting to be translated, reminds us that history is never completely lost. Even after more than 5,000 years, archaeologists continue to uncover new tombs, forgotten cities, and hidden stories beneath the Egyptian sands. Ancient Egypt may have fallen, but its story is still being written. Ancient Egypt was only one of history's great civilizations. But what happened to the empire that conquered nearly the entire known world in just a few decades? In our next episode, we'll uncover the incredible rise and shocking fall of Alexander the Great's empire. If you enjoy exploring history in just 10 minutes, subscribe to World in 10 Minutes. Because history isn't just about the past, it's the story of how our world was built,